Every day, excessive delays and denials from big insurers keep patients from accessing the care they need. And when care is urgent, these delays can be disastrous. These practices cost billions in wasteful spending, driving up costs for American families. But while big insurers put up barriers, America's hospitals and health systems are in your corner, navigating endless reviews and appeals to get you the care you need when you need it most. It's time to curb these harmful practices and put the focus back on patients. Brought to you by the Coalition to Strengthen America's Healthcare.
All right, back here on the Yaffee program, I am Alabama's Truth Czar. This is Huntsville's Disinformation Board. Let's see here. A bunch of people still weighing in when it came to the question of the day. You have a chance to win Doobie Brothers tickets. The question, pretty easy. What do you think the big, beautiful prize was when it came from Iran to Trump? All kinds of different answers. If you give me a good one, I'll reach out to you on the text line. The Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. By the way, the text line is brought to you by RegenesisStemCell.com. Contact Regenesis Stem Cell Center today if you deal with, say, neuropathy. I have family members that deal with that. They feel like there's nothing that helps. No treatment seems to work. Well, they haven't tried Regenesis Stem Cell Center. Maybe that's you. You need to try it today. They have helped so many people when it comes to issues like neuropathy, or maybe you just deal with back pain like I did. It helped me tremendously. But they can't help you unless you give them a call. So go to the website, RegenesisStemCell.com, or give them a call, 256-715-8193. Don't let injuries or pain slow you down any longer. RegenesisStemCell.com. Let them know you heard about it from Yaffee. All right, let's end the show like we usually do. We have the Yaffee program rewind. All right, so this is the time of the show where I remind you, if you missed any of it live, the podcast is up on the website, WVNN.com, or subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. Tell your friends, all that good stuff. So at the beginning of the show, we talked about the latest in Iran, always trying to give you the latest news there. The latest that we have, actually, is that Israel says they killed the IRGC Navy commander that they believe was mainly responsible for blocking the Strait of Hormuz. The other piece of news is Pakistan said Iran was considering the U.S. proposals in indirect talks, while President Trump said Tehran better get serious soon. And I played some cuts earlier, so I'll play them again here. Go ahead and play the Trump cut for me, Austin, if you can.
They want to make a deal so badly, but they're afraid to say it because they figure they'll be killed by their own people. They're also afraid they'll be killed by us. I went on to do something that for 47 years should have been done by any of the other presidents. And you heard numerous of them said they wished they did it, but they didn't have the guts to do it. We had no choice. I thought that the energy prices, oil price would go up higher. I thought the stock market would go somewhat lower, but it didn't matter to me. It's short term. What we had to do is get rid of the cancer. We had to cut out the cancer. The cancer was Iran with a nuclear weapon, and we've cut it out. Now we're going to finish it off.
So, by the way, there's breaking news now. I guess the question is over. So if you had another answer, I'm sorry. I've already given away the tickets. But apparently Trump just said within the last few minutes that the gift that Iran gave him in a show of peace was 10 tankers of oil, which we had Jared Hudson on earlier on in the show, and he said it was probably energy related. We did have some people weighing in on the text line saying that same thing, probably oil or something. I thought maybe a barrel of oil. Like I said, a magic carpet would have been cooler, but fine. 10 tankers of oil apparently is the gift that we received. So there you go. So we talked about that earlier on in the show. If you missed the segment, the podcast is up. We also had the Alabama bullet points today. One of the stories I had was the fact that Congressman Barry Moore, who's running for the Senate, is in the lead in that Senate race against Steve Marshall, 31-26. And Jared Hudson's at about 13%. So we had the details of that and more in the Alabama bullet points. I do that every day. You can always see that on my Facebook and X page and Instagram page as well. So check that out. Then we spoke with Cameron Smith. He is a columnist for AL.com. You can check out the conversation I had with him on the podcast. He is pretty skeptical when it comes to the Iran war. I mean, he supports the military efforts. I think he supports the idea of stopping Iran and stopping their nuclear program, but he doesn't like Trump's communication on it because he's not sure what ultimate victory is, and it seems like Trump has kind of changed. You know, he's gone back and forth a little bit. So if you missed his take on it, like, I'm not as skeptical as he is. I tend to be a lot more optimistic on it, frankly. I understand that Trump's a deal maker, but I think at the end of the day, what's going to happen, and I talked about this earlier as well, so the podcast is up, but at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to get a similar situation to Venezuela, where we get a leader in there who isn't great. You don't have freedom and democracy necessarily in Iran yet, but it's at least someone we can make deals with, that we can kind of control, that we can kind of keep in check. That seems to be what the result's going to be, which, by the way, that happens in war. I mean, if you read the history of war in the world, that is sometimes what happens. That is sometimes the outcome. That doesn't mean you lost or something. So we talked about that earlier. Also, earlier on in the show, we had Jared Hudson. He is running for the U.S. Senate. As I mentioned, he's at 13%. He joined me on the show. I asked him if he thought we were winning the war in Iran, and he said yes, although he admitted he was talking about some of the military aspects, and really the main goal right now is to take out the IRGC. And he actually had talked about he had done some work in the Strait of Hormuz in the past. So he said he doesn't necessarily think it would take boots on the ground to secure it. So we talked about that. I also talked about the fact that I completely agree with Tuberville. It is time to privatize the TSA because the government can't seem to do anything right. And the Democrats are going to continue to try to shut the government down and use this as a political weapon. So one of the best ways to do that is to privatize TSA. We had What's Trending with Austin. If you missed any of the show, the podcast is up. Appreciate y'all joining me. The Vince Show is next, and I'll be back tomorrow at the same time. See you then.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
Every day, excessive delays and denials from big insurers keep patients from accessing the care they need. And when care is urgent, these delays can be disastrous. These practices cost billions in wasteful spending, driving up costs for American families. But while big insurers put up barriers, America's hospitals and health systems are in your corner, navigating endless reviews and appeals to get you the care you need when you need it most. It's time to curb these harmful practices and put the focus back on patients. Brought to you by the Coalition to Strengthen America's Healthcare.
The NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light, is coming to Pittsburgh, and it's your chance to witness the future of the game for free from April 23rd to April 25th. Feel the energy of the NFL Draft. See the Vince Lombardi Trophy and Super Bowl rings. Meet NFL players and legends. Enjoy interactive games and live music performances, and be there as the future of the NFL takes center stage. The NFL Draft starts April 23rd. Register for free entry at NFL.com/draft access today.